Welcome to Critic, the show that gets facts wrong about your favorite con. I'm Jan, and in this episode, we'll be looking at the Toki of all time, Toki Teopotouea. Like any Critic episode, I'm starting with the phonology. Toki Teopotouea's consonants are m, n, b, d, k, s, da. Is that it? You might say. Where's the voice plosives? Where's the fricatives? Where's the distinction between the lateral and the rhontic? Where's the glottal approximant? Believe it or not, these are all 7 of Toki Teopotouea's consonants. Toki Teopotouea's vowels are I, U, E, O, A. Hey, it's our old friend, again, the classic 5 vowel system. But anyway, it is worth mentioning at this point that while the glides y and w do exist on the phonetic level, they're just allophones of E and U. As for Toki Teopotouea's phonotactics, syllables are optional consonant vowel, but there can't be more than 4 vowels in a row, and 2 of the same vowel can't touch. The repair strategy for the latter 2 situations being the insertion of an epenthetic da. The romanization just is the IPA. Well, almost. Since there's the use of R for da. As for the actual writing system, a script named Citadel Lioa is used. I'm not going to explain how that script works in detail in speaking, but you can just pause and read this wall of text on screen that explains it. Toki Teopotouea's grammar, especially its morphology, is very complicated, so as always, I will start with looking at the noun morphology. Nouns mark for 4 cases and for 5 numbers, only 2 of those being the singular and plural number of something within the timeline of the speaker that we're familiar with. The other 3 numbers involve alternate timelines as described in this table. It's worth noting here that the doubly plural number is also used to mean all of something, like in the name of the Toki Teopotouea language itself, whose name translates to the language of all time. Speaking of nouns, though, here are the pronouns. The 4th to 7th persons exist, once again, because of the need to grammatically mark for alternate timelines. Verbs in Toki Teopotouea take person and tense marking for the subject and if the verb is transitive, likewise for the object. The marking for person and tense, however, works the same on both sides of the verb. Also, it's worth noting both that the use of near versus far tenses depends on the class of the noun being referred to, and that intransitive verbs also serve the function of adjectives and adverbs. As for syntax, it's mostly like that of tokiponido, just that there is free word order on top of the default of SVO. Toki Teopotouea's vocabulary is mostly sourced from tokiponido and Mpiua Tiostouea, with some loans from other languages on top of that for good measure. The way the tokiponido and Mpiua Tiostouea strata of vocabulary get converted define the set of repair strategies seen here, and how loans from other languages get converted follow similar strategies. But alongside the words that come from tokiponido and Mpiua Tiostouea directly, a few highlights among those being listed here. There are also cases of derivation via consonant lenition or deletion, of which the word rioa, the demonym of the Toki Teopotouea speaking community, is an example of. And that lenition, along with portmanteauing that sometimes happens to form compounds, both occur in the numerals, which, as this wall of text explains, are in base 60. So how do spoken numerals in Toki Teopotouea work? The word for 0 is ara, which means nothing. Counting then begins wao, du, sao, bo, lua. Numbers up to 20 exclusive are generally of the form multiple of 5, lu, number 1 to 4, or multiple of 5, lua, for multiples of 5. So, luao, lutu, lusao, lupo, dulua, duluao, dulutu, dulusao, dulupo, saolua, saoluao, saolutu, saolusao, saolupo. The word for 20 is mure, which, unlike the word rua, does not suffix smaller words, so mure wao, mure tu, and so on. Soon, counting reaches du mure for 40, and so on, until eventually the word for 60, I, is reached. Further counting eventually reaches multiples of 60, like du I, sao I, and so on. As for powers of 60, 60 squared is called naka, and in general, further powers of 60 to the 2n are of the form na and ga. Okay, enough about counting. It's time to look at a sample text. This, as you can see, is a short one. Itea noea, satulaupa, saraso, salape, saeki. Oh no, Toki Teopotouea can be considered quote-unquote high art by my Kanaing standards, despite its grammatical time travel-based curseness. That's all I can say about the language in general, really. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for the Critic Season 1 finale, where I'll be showcasing Mpiua.